to make a simplified copy.
Yeah.
So we start from the point. I'm sure you read it, so I don't have to start reading anything in details. But we start from the point that uh, things are quite difficult for Nigerians. So that is so obvious. Things are quite difficult for Nigerians.
No, please can you start again so that we don't have all these things. Are you not repeating your
So ready? So I was saying that as we all live in Nigeria, I don't have to say that the times are very challenging. There are a couple of critical things that make the country run. One is monetary policy. And I think to the extent that Yemi Cardoso has been in charge since we had the Murphy there, he deserves very high marks because when the monetary policy process is stable, even though the currencies may be high, but you see since he came, the exchange rate has been fairly stable. So he's doing his job. The problem is fiscal policy. Fiscal policy simply means the revenue that the government generates. So as it stands now, the government is owing about 150 trillion. About 150 trillion. So that squeezes the remaining money. If you take away what they have to pay, what is left for all of us is extremely small. So we decided to interrogate why this is the case. And if you look at this, your small paper, you will see that the main field that we're looking at is where does the money go? All the monies we collect, where is it going? It's there, section 162, subsection 1. You see what it says? The Federation shall maintain a special account to be called the Federation account, into which shall be paid all revenues collected by the government of Nigeria, of the Federation. It's not being followed. So Okonjo-Iweala, in her wisdom, when I look back now, I see a lot of critical good things she did. She started the TSA. Unconstitutional, but made sense at the time. What was the TSA to do? It was simply to do what Section 162 is to do, which is make sure that we collect all our money and pay him. It's not happening. And that's why President Tinubu, acting on our last policy paper on crude oil funds, passed Executive Order 9, saying that no more deduction by NNPC. But the point is that even that is Order 9, it's not being followed because NNPC is still deducting 60 and 80% of revenue. So what they do is when they get revenue, suppose they get, let us say, $2 billion, they now do what is called deducting OPEX. OPEX means operating expenses. They deduct it. Then they say, here's the change. Then they pay into Federation account. The master is doing the same. MP is doing the same. Everybody is doing the same. So these people are already well funded. Already well funded. You know what they now do? They now present budgets because the only authority authorized to appropriate money is National Assembly. So you see the double spend. They deduct, contrary to the Constitution, then they still present a budget to appropriate the very monies they have kept. So we have lost like 200 trillion in the last 10 years. And if that is going to continue, we're not going to go anywhere. And I'm saying that as the presidential elections loom, you can see all the clatter and all the noise, but not a single politician has ever talked about the state of Nigeria's poverty. I think that is not wrong, not right. So we said in 2027, where our money goes must be on the ballot. Because if our money is not well accounted for, we should read the current report of the World Bank. Also, read the current report of the Auditor General. It lambasts the way government revenues are collected. So, our recommendation, because there's a lacuna means a gap. So, the lacuna says all revenues. So, a lot of the MDA says that, but it didn't say that we can't deduct. So, it means that we need to amend that section. So, see what we've done with our proposed amendments. All revenues accruing to the federation shall be paid into the federation account in gross, so that it will be clear to everybody that there are no deductions, costs, charges, or offsets of any nature shall be made prior to such payment. If this happens, our national cost will jump by at least 20 trillion, and it will take down the need for borrowing. So you see the importance of this. And in this paper, that's the bigger one.
Yes.
I have highlighted, some of the great difficulties that we're encountering. For instance, we talked about one, and the problem with Section 162, it just says what it says. It doesn't. It's like if you have a bank account, it doesn't tell you which bank it will be in. It doesn't tell you who is your branch manager. Nothing. That's the weakness of Section 162. You don't know where it should be kept. Some keep it in the central bank, some keep it in NNPC. It's all scattered. So the purpose of this is, let's revamp our constitutional architecture in respect of the federation account, so that any penny that comes into the or generated on behalf of the federation must end there. When it ends into the federation account, the second most important thing for transparency is not the appropriation. So there will be no padding, no double spend. Because I find it ridiculous that the NNPC, having deducted 60 to 80% because the money goes to them. I don't know why the money should actually go to them, but it goes to them. So when they receive the money, when they're looking at it, they say, our budget for next year shall be so and so. They deduct it. The same people deducting also present a budget to the National Assembly. And that's why we're broke. That's simple. Why we are called. So I'm happy to take your questions as usual.
Thank you, Doc. Let me fire the question.
Sure, go on.
These challenges you highlighted, is it as a result of the ignorance of successive government and administrations to know what the Constitution says, or they just obvious decision for them that they have taken that decision that they are not going to implement all these things? Because these things, you are not the only one reading the Constitution. It's enshrined in the Constitution, but over the years, these things have not been taken effect. What do you think is the major problem here? Lack of knowledge, or just made decision not to apply what the Constitution says?
Too much politics. The governance is dominated by politics and not governance. That's the problem. I can bet if we had to run a test on all political office holders, many of them have not read Section 162. Many of them don't even have a copy of the Constitution. They focus on getting into office. They focus on will votes be transmitted or not transmitted. Will the Electoral Act favor them or not favor them? Will they be ready to? Mr. Wike is speaking on TV right now. He's speaking on TV right now to justify a lot of things. And I'm not a politician, so I don't talk about politics. I talk strictly on policy. But I know that the only conclusion I can draw from the question you've raised is they don't know the Constitution. That's the reason. And it was so clear when we did the other one that Mr. President Tinubu quickly passed Executive Order 9. So there is such lack of knowledge. So we're looking for a leader in 2027 and absolutely don't care who that person is, but he must understand the Constitution. It's like saying that you're a preacher, you are preaching to us, but you don't know the Bible. And then I ask you, what does Matthew 2 14 say? And you say, can I have? They don't know the Constitution. You'll be very shocked. The absolute lack of knowledge and ignorance of the political class. All of you is not here. Is arise, all of you, are you not here? Business day. How many of them really read what you write? How many? So the low level of governance knowledge is what accounts for this.
Sir, may I also ask that?
Yes.
Consider the fact that
I can
there
see your
seems to
face.
be
Yes.
deliberate circumvention of the law.
I didn't say that though.
Okay, but it seems that, lack of knowledge, you clearly say.
Sure.
Are you saying that, the present crop of powerful people in government today lack knowledge with regards to all this fiscal irresponsibility? And we are also asked, who are the powerful actors behind who benefits from the opacity of this system itself?
Political class. They're the ones who benefit. Political class are the benefit. Are the people who benefit in not following the Constitution. It's obvious. Because the Constitution ought to be obeyed. Section 1, subsection 3 says that this is the supreme law of the land and has to be obeyed. And we know it's not been obeyed. What good example do I have it's not been obeyed? It's Executive Order 9, where Tinubu said, NNPC, you cannot be deducting 30% management fee, 60% frontier fund, this and that and that. Why was the TSA passed? Even though it is unconstitutional. It's because some ministries and agents, at one government had about over 100,000 accounts. So TSA then came to say, you can't do that. Everything must be streamlined. So there's an awareness, but I don't know whether that awareness is deep enough to understand that we are bleeding. That's my point. That fiscal policy, the simple way out for them is to borrow. You see, we can borrow from World Bank, from this. But why don't they think that rather than borrowing, we can actually generate our own resources and harness it and control it so that the borrowing will not be required? Because if borrowing continues at this level, in the next 4 years, we will top 200 trillion. But if we tighten this, then in the next 4 years, we will earn about 100 trillion, reducing the need to borrow. That's why this fiscal shift, it's the most important political decision that anyone who wants to be president can take. The most important decision. What is the point entering Aso Rock and you are broke? What is the point? I don't see the point. You want to become president because you have the resources to execute development projects for the good being of Nigerians, for welfare, for security, for all the ravages we are suffering. That would be the utmost intent of anyone who wants to be president. So anyone who wants to be president, when you see all the political aspirants that want to be president, ask them, what does 162 say? If they fail, then they're not qualified to be president.
Sir,
Yes,
sir, I want you to shed light on this line.
but I need to hear you.
I want you to shed light on this line, page 2.
Page 2.
It said the Constitution does not specify the custodian for the federation account.
Yes.
That on address for 25 years. Page 2.
Yes, I'm reading it. Yes.
It's confirming to that the Constitution does not specify.
I want the same page too.
Yes,
Right.
we find it.
Is it executive?
Or is it the small one? The big one.
Said page 2.
We find it that it's
Yes,
fine.
page 2.
Okay.
Yes, what are you saying?
I'm asking you, sir, to shed light on this. You are saying that the Constitution does not specify the custodian for the federation account. That on address for 25 years.
Yes. That's what I've said. If you read the top of the page, you will see where it says the federation shall maintain a special account. You see that part? to be called the federation account, into which shall be paid. Who is paying? These are the gaps.
Yes.
Who is paying? All revenues collected by government of the federation, except blah 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 blah. So that's the gap. So I've said that the gap I see in section 162, and please, this is my own opinion, doesn't mean that it's necessarily right. It's intended to generate policy discussions and debate. So I say, who is exactly the custodian of the federation account? Where is the federation account? Some say it's, when I was arguing with my friends, so yeah, it should be in the CBN. I don't see how it should be in the CBN. The CBN is a monetary authority, but the federation account is a fiscal instrument. Monetary is a different thing from fiscal. So why would CBS be the custodian? So what this policy document does is not to necessarily claim that it's 100% correct, but it generates the set of question you asked me. Okay, who keeps the account? Who actually, you have a bank account, don't you? You transfer. You know how much is in your account because you control it, because you're the custodian.
Yes.
So who is the custodian of the federation account? That's the question I'm raising. I don't know. And then I'm happy to hear anyone tell me that he knows whether it's the AGF or the president or the OAGF or the CBN. Even the CBN governor, Lamido, back then, who was supposedly the custodian, said, remember when he was suspended? He was suspended because he announced, I can't find $20 million.
Yes.
So this is the custodian, the assumed custodian, even saying, I'm not in control. So there's a huge problem. So this problem should be resolved by those people who want to lead us. And still we have, for upcoming elections, let them stop talking about decamping from one party to the other and talk face government. That's the issue. Let them stay. Politics is overwhelming governance to the point where they forget the very document for which they seek election. I mean, one example of a person who is clearly understands what he's doing is Abia governor. Clear. Because nobody will tell you when somebody is coming. So generally, across the 774 local governments, the 36 states, the federal, blah, blah, the performance in respect of governance is poor. This is an ABC matter. It's so simple that the first thing I will do when I sit down in the chair of the president, not that I want to sit up, just say,
No, you can ask.
not that I want to sit
We'll vote for you.
okay, there's nobody vote for me. When I sit down there, I say, where's our money? That's what I'll be asking. Because I have made promises, campaign promises on that. So where's our money? Who signs? Who do I talk to? That will be the first question. But it doesn't seem that is the question they're asking. So that is the essence of this policy paper.
So who did you suggest should be the custodian?
In the paper, we mentioned that there has to be a new framework. Because in many countries, it doesn't matter to me what the framework is. Just create clarity. The federal federation account, you can't deduct it. Because what they are now doing is to say, they didn't say gross and net. You can't deduct. And the person who will be signing this thing will be so and so. If it is decided it will be central bank, okay, then we know. Let the public knowledge. Do you know where the federation account is? Inshallah, do you know where it is? But it ought to be public knowledge. It's such a vital element of our governance that we all ought to know. But it's so opaque. It's so opaque. It needs to be known. The president of Nigeria cannot succeed on the basis of this section 162. He will keep borrowing. So rather than borrow, as I'm suggesting, rather than borrow, if the next president comes in on May 29, and they show him the balance sheet, you said, where do we borrow from? He's not going to ask, what about our resources? Where are our resources? And then he will ask, how do we tighten this thing, which Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala saw? Unfortunately, she didn't implement it. It now looked as if it was Buhari. But it wasn't Buhari, it was Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. So when Buhari came with is a tough man look, everybody was afraid. People stopped, everybody was behaving. But very soon it went back to the same thing. Hiding money in bank accounts, not paying the correct thing to the traditional account. So we are now back to square one. And there's leak. Is if your account is leaking you. If you have a bank account, you put in so much. Following day, you see how
It's still happening now.
it's still happening. So how does it stop? That's the issue. How does it stop?
So you say that the solution is first an executive order.
No, not an amendment of the constitution. Because the constitution is, don't forget that an executive order is not even as strong as legislation. An executive order only operationalizes what is lawful. So it is questionable whether the president can, by executive order, amend the constitution. So can the president, by executive order, introduce growth into section 162? He can't do that. So the way to go is to amend the constitution.
Well, Doc, a follow-up, since the removal of fuel subsidy, a lot of money is now being made available for spend for the governors. People have wondered why the government did not create a special fund, at least that would benefit the masses rather than.
Special fund.
Yes,
But this is the differential account. Why should they create a
No.
special fund?
Well, whatever. So, but the sharing of the money to the governors is what really is our money.
Yes.
So, what is your advice going forward? Because sharing continues and the people are getting poorer while the governors are living large. So, what actually is the advice you give the government going forward on how to manage that?
The advice I will give is make sure all government monies are accounted for by putting it in the differential account. Because if you don't do that, then every month when the Minister of Finance gathers the commissioners of finance, it is just a sharing bazaar. They're not asking the serious questions, even though the Supreme Court has said gross monies must be paid in. So you see, we need attention to be drawn to this point problem. We need attention to be drawn. So it's not enough to go to Abuja and say, there's a Gulf war, therefore oil prices have gone up, therefore our fact distribution will be more. So we're taking more. When you take that more, how does it affect people on the ground? It's not. And that is partly due to the opacity of section 162. Because, okay, if I wanted to hold my governor to account, I don't know what he gets. It's all secret. It's all secret. So the whole process must be open by this new law that we have proposed somewhere inside the policy paper.
Well, so 3 questions from me. but
Yes,
not
4 even.
strictly. The NNPC came few days ago and told us that they will not only revamp the Ellen or Kimatos refineries,
Yes.
but they are going to expand it.
Yes,
And we've had these stories many times and many times.
sure.
Do you think that we get any result from this?
No.
And 2, okay. So
No.
why?
But they're dead. The refineries are dead. Dangote spent 20 billion and they spent 26 billion repairing the refineries already, and they still want to continue. Is that opacity that I'm talking about? There's no accountability because they have the funds. See, the NNPC can just say, in fact, I don't even know what the NNPC is. Is it a regulator? Is it an operator? Who exactly is this NNPC? So, your question supports my question because the money is with them and they're not accountable to the National Assembly. National Assembly is not sitting on there as a toothless bulldog. The National Assembly that ought to control public revenue does not. Just sitting there, their name is going under the table. So NNPC, when NNPC says that they're going to fix all the refineries, is it not about money? Where will the money come from? It's not appropriated. But because they are used to not going to the National Assembly, they said, but what about the 1.something billion that they put in Port Harcourt? After the thing inject, it collapsed. The refineries are dead. President Tinubu went to London. What about how much again? I think it's 1 billion
Yeah.
to fix
Pounds.
dead ports.
Mm.
In my 40 years as a maritime lawyer, I know that the Port Harcourt, Calabar, Koko, Apapa ports are beyond repair. We have a deep spot, hope you know.
Yeah.
Do you know where it is?
Listen. Cross.
No! We have a deep
Akwa
sea port. You guys are so ignorant.
Ibom.
We have a deep sea port in Lekki.
Okay, Lekki is.
So we don't need Apapa. Apapa should, if at all, should be an inland port. But they want to fix it. See? They want to repair as soon as it's dead. The same thing they want to repair refineries that are dead.
And we have spent a lot of money.
You know that, yes? No. He says you have two more.
Say he has a layer. So.
Let him finish.
Well, sir, the NFPC also said they are targeting $60 billion
Yes.
to increase the gas distributing.
They can't.
Get such an
They
investment.
cannot. They can't.
Why?
The entire hydrocarbon and gas policy has failed. And that is why the people who control the hydrocarbon and gas policy don't want the process to be liberalized. Unfortunately, liberalization has taken a bad word, but it's not a bad word if it's done well. Look at Dangote now. Look at how Dangote aged because there were all sorts of obstacles in his way. Look at how Professor Batnaji, the world's leading geometric and robotics specialist, aged. You know how long it took him to fire up his electricity plant? You know, 20 years.
50 years.
20 years. And he was the man who got it right. That there must be a linear approach to our electricity problem. Generation, transmission, must be in the hand of one person. Here, a wind thermal power plant generates the most. But Lagos is just by it. It will bypass Lagos and push it into the national grid sitting somewhere in Jigawa. So by the time the thing rolls, there will be some accident somewhere, nothing happens, the whole thing collapses. So we need new mentality. Look at the Electricity Act, which we help to advise. The market is opening. So efficiencies are coming. NNPC is not an efficient organization. Period. NNPC, I don't know what is taking it so long for anyone to understand that NNPC is an opaque and extinct organization. Dead. At least the first thing that happened, which was that the PIA recognized that NNPC is no longer a regulator, that it is now an operator. But it is still acting as a regulator, controlling crude oil sales. That's not the job of NNPC. Depriving Dangote. There is a mafia around crude oil sales. The three big off-takers, Glencore, Vitol, and what's the third one again? Glencore, Vitol, and forgotten the third one. They buy the crude oil, ship it abroad, sell it to refineries. Nigeria is the one country that a joke is made. They say, how much blend? They blend the damn thing. I don't know whether you notice sometimes when you buy fuel, the thing just vanishes.
Yes.
Because it's blended, it's not pure. So they now blackmailed Dangote. They said, we're going to keep importing. And I said, why you import? I have it here. They said, no, because your crude, your you are doing is impure. It's full of sulfur. Dangote did the test. He won. Did the test. He won with 87. The imported ones were like about 2,000 something. Very impure. He threw his bombshell. The man who is making all the decisions, where is he getting $5 million to pay school fees for his children?
For that.
Then what happened to the man?
He resigned.
He resigned. After that, what happened? Why?
The system.
Huh?
The system.
So what's your third question?
My third question, sir, which might hit you. You tend to be an ardent supporter of Dangote. Are you happy?
Does he
Given
have
the previous
does he have
discussions
share
we
there?
had before, Are you comfortable with this
monopolistic.
incessant increase in gantry price? Like as we are just sitting here, we have information that it has increased again.
Mhm.
On Wednesday last week, they increased again, and it has been a continuous, and the thing is bleeding Nigerians.
Yeah, I'm an ardent supporter of Dangote's absolutely determined idea to be a successful businessman. If you want to be Dangote, am I holding you? Go and be. If you allow only one man to do that, this, that, and that, you are complaining. Has he stopped anybody? He doesn't even have the power. In fact, the powers that be would have absolutely contented him if he wasn't a strong person. I'm in support of anyone who shows enterprise. Do you know what it would have done to the life of Professor Naji? To wait 20 years. And then if he starts to supply about now, Abba is enjoying 24/7. About before Naji came and did all he was doing, had about 30,000 factories, shoes, bags, all sorts. In fact, one of my friends was even supplying underwear to Marks and Spencer, one of the leading super shops in the UK. What killed all this? No power. So why won't I support Batan Naji? Why won't I support Dangote? If I can see that what he's doing will make Nigeria good. Why won't I support Prince Onyema? If we had all these guys, we won't be in this trouble. Government does not get into the business of business. Here we have only 3 men. I hope you know that Dangote is the man who has held the exchange rate because we are no longer importing as before. He has held it. So anyone who does not give him support, so you want the importers to continue with the monopoly. That's why I support. Not as a person, but I support this
Right.
the drive. In fact, I wonder sometimes, how do these guys do it? Because Bartonage is my friend, and I say I will actually call him and ask him, how did you survive 20 years of obstacles? One obstacle after the other, and you kept on until now the thing is flowing, and Abba is being revived. Even we had 20 Dangotes, 20 Onyemas, 20 was the man I saw just now. Bartonage. We won't be in this. We're not going to be in this. We don't have people because politics has become business. Everyone wants to become a politician. And if you go in there, what is your name again?
Success.
Success. So they say success is running for House of Reps. Or
Yeah.
So you
all your friends will come. If you fail, they run away. If you succeed, that's it. They'll give you a car, a house, this, and you see the sweetness of the thing. So that lack of transparency is killing us badly.
But do you still support the attempt to, given that we are in a liberalized economy,
Yes.
do you agree to the attempt by him to stop importation by other
By who?
marketers?
By who?
Other marketers. There are other people who are
No, by who? Who is it by him? Who is it?
by Dangote trying to stop them.
Is he stopping them?
He has said that many times.
No,
he should
market
stop.
forces. If you see a station that is selling Dangote fuel for 5 naira and another one which is imported for 10 naira, where are you going to go?
I'm good here.
Yeah, so it's not your answer the question.
But he has canvassed that they should stop giving that license.
I canvass the same thing too. How will you give license to people to import when it is here? What sense does it make? It's not PMS we're talking about.
Yes.
So the PMS is in our backyard and you want to import. It's like me having a borehole with water in my place and my wife tells me that she wants to bring a water tanker. Doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Is Dangote monopolistic? Maybe, but who's stopping you from doing what he's doing? Anybody?
no, the thinking is that if they bring fuel from outside,
Yes.
they drive the price down.
No, it is not true because it's higher. It's not true.
No, about information we have
Something
is
you are
that
not
even
trying.
the imported fuel is less in terms of pricing.
Who told you that?
So we have a bulletin of memo.
It's not number one, it's not correct. Number two, the main reason why it may be cheaper, if I should agree with you, is that it is impure fuel. That's the problem. So Nigeria is known as a blender. So when the thing comes to the final, it's of the hammer blend. So the thing is impure. So if they produce pure PNS like Dangote, their price would not be what it is. So they know, and in cahoots with a couple of international markets, they mix it. What do you know what I mean? They take the root and blend it, put all that kinds of things in it, so that the price will be cheap. In fact, as a matter of policy, all these importers ought not to be allowed to bring in this because it's not pure oil, not PNS.
Sorry, colleagues. Sir, you've talked about the what NNPC, how they can't attract $60 billion.
Yeah.
But what should they do?
They should go extinct. I just told you they should go extinct. Not even what should they do. They are dead. They have failed us. They should not continue to be in operation. And if they should continue to be in operation, they should become what they are. They are no longer, I hope you know they're no longer NNPC as regulator. I hope you know that.
Yes.
They are NNPC PLC Limited. Operator. Why are they not being, why are they still doing the old function? That's my question. Why are they still regulating the price of everything? Why are they the ones giving licenses? That's not their job. They are the same thing like any other operator in the land. So what is the reason for this special treatment? That is something we should interrogate. Why is it continuing? Why does the law recognize them as operator? In the law, in the BIA law, it is there, operator. But why are they still regulator? I should ask you. Go and think about that.
That question should be to the federal government.
You asked me. You are the one who asked me.
Sir, well, can't they have a kind of
NNPC is dead, please. Yes, well, sir. In my view, NNPC should be completely dead. It should be revamped. If it's to survive, it should simply be an operator. Sell the damn thing, put it on the Nigerian Stock Exchange, let people buy, and let government hands off NNPC. So when they get licenses or whatever, let them then decide, okay, so NNPC now has 4 refineries as an entirely private company, without government support. Right? So if they want to now borrow 60 billion, let them go ahead. But government will not support them. Just the same way that government did not necessarily give preferential treatment of the type NNPC enjoy to Dangote. Let them be on the same footing. Let's see whether they will have the sense to say, do you know how old the Port Harcourt refinery is? Not everything has an expiry date. It's expired. Like Apapa Port is technically expired. So when you borrow 1 billion, say you want to fix an Apapa Port, you should go there to see the old warehouses. Then go and compare it with the deep sea port. The deep sea port can discharge a vessel in about 24 hours. Here, it takes about 2 months. So I don't understand why this port should not be closed, personally, because it's technically dead. So we have to make that. Oh, they're still pouring money at dead things. The 1 billion that they are putting in Papa, what's your town?
Imo State?
Where? What exactly?
Imo
State. We'll cut the whole roads in your town. It is better. You people will be more appreciative of the federal government that all the roads in Mbise and surroundings to give you hospital water. Don't you want that? Of course. Rather than put money in something that is dead that will not be revived. After they put this 60 billion, they say they raise it. They put the 60 billion. Down the road, they will tell us it can't work. Where all the monies they put in the various refineries, have they told us why it's not working? So why are you suggesting that we should keep putting more?
It's intentional corruption.
Well, I don't tell your brother here. Tell your brother who seems not to know.
Look, how comfortable are you with the appointment of Abdullah Joma as the chief executive of Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, who just left, who has sacked Dangote? Because I was somewhere at the weekend and they were debating it, and they said there may be conflict of interest here. Someone is being tapped to regulate the industry where he was. is a major operator. So I heard what they said. I just want to know your own comment.
I don't do comments outside of policy. So this is I'm being called to make a personal judgment. I don't. I stay strictly
Okay,
on-
later after the meeting, I'll come to your office so that you let me know what you.
Okay, but I stay with policy. I find it safer. I find that the 40 years I've been doing policy work, no one has accused me of being PDP or APC or whatever, because I say it as it is. I'm not interested in who's president. If, for instance, President Tinubu does not win and somebody else comes in, I don't care. So long as it benefits Nigerians. My constituency is Nigeria. So whoever can do the job, if Tinubu can do it, okay. If PDP can do it, I don't care. So that's the way to be safe. Because if I had gotten into the type of dangerous question you asked me, I will not be sitting here today. I'll be long tainted.
No, it's an innocent question.
I know it's nonsense. But my point is I stay on policy. That's why I have different journalists here who have different political party interests. You think I don't know? You think I don't know? You can't catch me on that one.
Thank you.
Yes, who wanted to ask? I thought you wanted to ask.
It has the answer.
Good, anymore?
The call for loan agreement, sir.
Yes.
I wanted to find out, sir, is it even compliant with Nigeria's
Don't go there because that one makes me want to be terribly angry. Again, we're back to NNPC. We're back to NNPC. You see, the problem, even when I'm discussing wife, I find that the discussion is imbalanced because is it my fault that I know truth?
No,
No, anyone who says it's my fault, raise his hand, let me see.
nobody.
So sometimes I have to use the towel to clean my head because the thing I see, why am I the only one seeing this? Why am I the only one seeing? People is asking me. So this forward sale, we have no money. Africa Green Bank, we need 100 billion. How do you pay? So we'll give you crude. They've sold our crude 10 years ahead. 10 years in forward sale. And there are deal men who come and take it. The Glencores, the Vitols, and all that. They take the damn thing. So we are perpetually broke. Okay, what are we producing? You see this 1 point something thing we produce? It's all hot. It's all mortgage to loans. So you pay 100,000 this, you have 200 here. So the remaining, let us say, I'm just using figures. Let us say 50,000 is left. That is what goes to feed 200 million people. That's the problem. So that's the problem with this question you asked. Forward sale agreement contravenes again the federation accounts because NNPC cannot do forward sale and commit our money without appropriation. And now, if you go to the National Assembly, and there's one thing you must say for the National Assembly, whether we like it or not, is there's a robust mix of people. Igbos, Yorubas, Waris, everybody. They debate issues. And I find the National Assembly quality may be higher, but still it is the best platform to interrogate issues. So I listened to their debates. I remember one, the chairman of the committee was saying, no, this can't go on. So why the money is necessary to go through the federation account is that all this forward sale agreement that the National Assembly never knows of will come to their table. And when it comes to their table, there will be a debate. If they didn't approve it, then it's okay. As our representatives, they've approved it. But if NNPC should sit in NNPC towers selling our crude, just two people will decide it. The GMD may say, you know what, we need to do so and so. Let's sell crude. They tell nobody. Absolutely nobody. Why should 10 men win the area? Because they were not elected. So that's why the NNPC thing is very dangerous. And in my opinion, it's time to either scrap it or reduce its role to that of a simple private sector regulator, operator. So they have no access to forex.
Can you give me the National Assembly password? This National Assembly.
I did say pass mark.
No, from what
He
you
said
said,
there's
their
a report.
quality
He's so
of, their
perfect.
quality of,
I didn't say
That's
sorry.
I didn't say I'm
He
giving
said
the
he
pass
was
mark. But I'm
You
saying
said they
that
are robust.
They are
it is the
robust.
only place where a debate occurs.
Are they doing it now?
No, wait. Does a debate occur in NNPC?
He has watched the president of
I've
the
left
Senate.
that one. I'm asking this.
I'm
National
asking
Assembly.
you.
No, sir.
Does a debate occur in NNPC?
No,
And
no,
are you
sir.
aware of that debate and its
Not-
quality?
I'm not.
But are you not aware that the National Assembly conducts debates, even though it may be called debate?
That's no debate.
Really, maybe no debate, but at least we see it, and we can make a comment on what they do. This thing they've done is not correct, or what they've done is not bad. But do you know about what the NNPC is doing? You see, what I have gathered from the uninformed questions with due respect that you are asking, you don't know the details of Nigeria's corruption. You have no idea. It's obvious. And I would urge you to read more. Read more so that you will know that NNPC is really more powerful than the Nigerian president. You need to understand that. The NNPC is more powerful than the Nigerian president. Because, why do I say this? Anyone who holds the purse string is the man with the power. So between the Nigerian, and I'm not talking about Tinubu, across the board, anybody who controls the purse strings and can direct money is the man with the power. So the GMD is the man who controls Nigeria's purse strings because our key forex earner, our key even local earner, is crude oil. And crude oil sales, production, distribution. Look, if I was the GMD, I said, I like you. Come and see me. I'll make you a billionaire. I won't make you.
You will.
But I can make you a billionaire.
Uh-huh.
You see, that is the power of the GMD. Please look into it more. Dangerous. Dangerous. Professor Wambeze of Blessed Memory, because I'm a senior fellow of the Wambeze Center for Constitutional Law, used to always ring it in my ear. And he said, why does this one keep saying it? He says, Nigerians do not understand the notion of limited government. The notion, you know what I mean? The notion of limited government. Take Trump with all his madness. When the Supreme Court cut him short of tariffs, he obeyed it, in spite of his madness. So the notion of limited government means the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary understand the limits of their powers. Here, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. That's why the GMD is a more powerful person than the president. The president is in a motorcade and driving, but the GMD is sitting in his office. They can drive a motorcade. Power is between. That ought to change. Yes.
So would I be correct to say that the proposal to be is primarily targeted at NNPC?
Yes.
So
No, that would be wrong. But NNPC emerges as a key target. But my proposal today is targeted at reforming the federation account.
right,
And the federation account is funded mostly, or ought to be funded mostly, from crude oil sales. And NNPC is responsible for crude oil. So it seems as if they are the primary targets.
but if it was that the amendment is made to the constitution, do you think the constitution will be able to coerce the NNPC, considering its powers as you
No,
say?
but you see, that is a very big and interesting question. So I have wondered, why is the GMD of the NNPC as powerful as it is when there's a sitting president? That's a question I'll leave for you to answer. Why is the NNPC man who is appointed by the president picked, isn't it? When he gets there, how come he becomes a lord to himself to the point where he subverts the authority of the president? How does that happen? And it is only after a long time when it's so clear that there's a need to throw him out that he goes. But he does what he likes. All NNPC GMDs. Another person, another office where this subversion occurs is the office of the Governor General, Governor General, Governor of the Central Bank. Luckily, we have an absolutely brilliant governor. But what the Governor of the Central Bank can do is use ways and means. So CBN is here, the National Security and Printing Company is down the road. So, and the Governor of the Central Bank is the chairman of the Mint. So it just calls MD, I want 5 trillion. How does that come? Who knows? No, how does it? And how does the 5 trillion emerge? Huh? You guys don't know. Let them answer. How does it come? I'm the governor of Central Bank. I call. I say, I need 5 trillion. How does it come?
Printing.
Printing. They print it. They print it and give it a nice name called ways and means. So they funnel the 5 trillion into the system. There's no money. There's no money to pay salary. You can't print. You can't run a country that way. You only print money if it's backed by productivity. Because if you print money without productivity, inflation. So it's no surprise that we're in an inflationary trend, which the governor has tried to reduce, given the profligacies of the past governor. Who, can you imagine? Just think of the audacity of the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria wanting to be president of Nigeria.
It's an ambition.
It's not an ambition. Just to think of it. A man is governor of the Central Bank, sitting as governor, gets a lawyer to go and ask the court for a declaration as to whether he can run for president. Any more?
Like you said, the man is so powerful that he feels that it's for the taking.
So the only way we can stop this is by things we do, calling attention to some of the critical, important institutional reforms necessary. And that's why I focused attention today, and I hope you will read it well and carry it forward. That this foundational accounting is not as simple as it sounds. The foundational accounting, what does that mean? It means nothing. It means a lot because that's where your money. All of us who have bank accounts, I'm sure you've not. I'm sure you should not allow your husband to see your bank account.
Look, on a lighter,
Yes.
on a lighter note,
Yes.
at a point in time, you lost an ambition to go some political office. At a point,
When?
because you were very close to political people and you were.
Why do you keep saying all this?
No, I'm coming. So, with all you know, Nigerians will benefit if people like you go into the Senate, for instance, to make these laws and to let your voice heard. So, why are you not considering, or are you tired, or are you afraid that even with your knowledge, you will not even get more than one vote? The way politics is being played now.
Pakuton, who perhaps is a more experienced political economist, because I'm a lawyer. I learnt mine by interest. Wanted to run for governor. Hope you know.
And
Yes.
They so packaged it, they was doing primary, that they sent it to the wrong venue.
you didn't know when they
Yeah? He didn't know what the thing took place. So I would claim I don't have the wisdom of Nigerian politicians. I don't. So I rather stay away because I know if I go there, I can't make any contribution. My contribution is stronger in the area where I think I have expertise. Do I have unless you carry me physically and say there's no consensus. Unless you say, you know what, all Nigerians say Olisa Agbakoba should be. But no one's going to say that. no one's going to say that.
Okay, all that you're saying.
Yes.
All this policy they already know.
Yes.
So
They don't know.
They do.
They don't know.
The attention of them. The fact
They
that
don't.
all this-
Sorry, what's your name?
My name is Joy.
Joy. They don't know.
Because even someone, okay, even the
I have
all
look.
this you say,
One of the
they're
things.
very-
Let me tell you. One good thing I also do, and when they see me, they know at once. What is it here? Grammar. I have friends. That across government, across the National Assembly. I chat. In fact, I was chatting with one yesterday, very senior one. He didn't know what 162 was. He didn't know. The interest that is contained. See, unless we get our politics right, this question you asked, and that's what keeps people like us away. We are afraid. I have not been home to my hometown in Onitsha for 8 years. You know why?
No, sir.
So if I'm kidnapped, will you come and visit me? No, I'm afraid.
All shit and tell everybody.
Really, the bond will even go up. So that's the problem. I said, let me stay in the space I understand.
Agnes chamber is working.
Eh?
Agnes chamber is
Okay. When I called and they said the thing is 500 people, I hope you will contribute something. So, no. Anything you do in life, do where you are best.
I was there with it.
Eh? But you're not me.
Okay.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
It will be my driver who will whisper, "He's around you." My brother was kidnapped. My brother, my own 2 steps younger brother. But they left him when they said, it's Agbakoba. Arise, thank you for saving him. Because they said, we see him on Arise. In fact, they started fighting. Who kidnapped this guy? Well, I don't want to take that chance. I don't want to take that chance. And therefore, when you say the politics, no. Let me keep calling you guys and we chat. Then you propagate what I'm saying and hope that they hear. The issue is, are they listening? That's the big issue. That's the issue. Are they listening? If they listen, this country can be absolutely a brilliant place to live in. But they're not listening. Because
Because they benefit from the corruption. That's why they benefit from
No, I'll put it another way around. To become a politician in Nigeria at the lowest level, you've got to put some money down. You've got to have a structure. So when they have gone into this thing and seen that they can't even trust the man on their left and on their right, and the man on the left says, look, and they've spent money. The first thing that occurs to them when they go in, particularly if they borrowed 200, 300, is how to recruit. So if you say the 2 critical things in Nigeria, politics and governance, politics will be like this. If you bring all these things to them, they throw it away. They're interested in politics. So some will know, what he's saying, it's not Olisa. We know, he's the right thing. But they will not implement it. So whether it is lack of knowledge or whatever, these things that are simple don't get implemented. I can say with humility, if I get there, which I can't, you're not listening now. If I get there, which I can't, 6 months is enough to turn around Nigeria. 6 months is enough. It is in fact, Nigeria is the easiest country to run. The people have the lowest expectation. You got no street protests, nothing. Even in Iran, with all the challenges of coming out, that's why he was given to Showore. All of you, please give it to him. So is my boy when I was president of the Civil Liberties Organization back in the 70s, and he was president of that. All my guys. So I'm happy he's a worthy successor. Because at least somebody must stop. When Abacha was doing all this, I said, we are going to speak. When he wanted to become president on the 5 leprous, nobody was saying a word. Nobody, not a soul. Everywhere was quiet. But what put us in prison, gave me a black eye, we spoke. So no, can't. Who are you? We'll stop. You can win, but we're not going to say it, and we'll talk. So at 73, I have worthy successors like Shore. Who are the others? They know themselves. So those are the people that you should go and interview. Put them on TV. Let them be talking, so that the thing will drive through. Mine is to use constitution, the safe environment of my office in are we in Ikoyi? Apapa, and then talk to my friends safely. Nobody will arrest me.
So what are you telling Nigerians given this countdown to 2027?
Vote for the man that will do best for you. vote for the man that will be best for you. That's what I'm telling you. There is no Nigerian that can say that he is happy. Even me, who God has blessed, I will not say that I'm not uncomfortable. I feel the pain. I always ask my daughter, how do you guys cook? I can't understand it. If your salary is 120 and rice is 80,000, so how are you eating? How down do you get on? So that's all I can do because I don't have political power to say, I hereby bless you with 200 million. I don't have it. But I, eh?
You can do that.
I do not can do that. Are you in my pocket?
I know.
Are you in my pocket?
You can do it,
You
sir.
can do it.
Fancy down.
The way
Sit down
that
already,
the way
sir.
they do
Eh?
that.
What? Yes.
Can we have your view on consensus candidates?
It's in because it's in the electoral act.
So how does it improve democracy in Nigeria?
Let me tell you. And I'm prepared to say this on record, even though it may sound ridiculous. First proposition: who is the typical Nigerian voter? And what level of education does he have and freedom of mind does he have to make an informed decision? I would answer that the typical Nigerian voter neither has resources, independence to make an informed decision. And therefore, you see him taking 500 naira to sit in the sun, merely to cast the vote for so and so. That vote that is casting for so and so, is it the right vote? These are ideological questions. So in one of the debates I sat in, somebody with a very Professor Killer, I'm sure you guys know him.
Yeah.
He said, shouldn't we pass a law to say, even though it may sound draconic, not all Nigerians are eligible to vote? That's what he floated. Because the truth is that I'm not going to ask my 2-year-old to vote. Why is that? Why is there a cutoff mark? Because we know that there is a certain intellectual capacity required to decide how you vote. So I'm suggesting that maybe it's something we should need to think about. It will cut away a lot of the problems. It will cut away all this going to villagers to make them vote. It then offends the notion of freedom. And people say, but is that correct? So these are debates. Look, I would love to be a Chinese. China built a 3,000, I remember now, 3,000 or 9,000 bed hospital in 9 days. America has about 160 military bases across the world, but China is far, far ahead because China is not fighting any war. They've decided their priority. But this is a country without democracy. So if I put it to a Nigerian, this is what is happening in China. You ask me, do they vote? I said, no. So, no. I said, but this is what they have. I said, oh, really? So if you put the question to Nigerians to answer, which model would you prefer? The Nigerian model of governance or the Chinese model of governance? The answer will be difficult to decide. I can assure you. Because China is better than Nigeria. China is ahead of America. They don't have democracy. They don't have all this mago. How are they doing it? It's an open question. So is democracy the answer to Africa's problems? These are interesting issues. Is democracy the answer to Africa's problems? When the 90% of those who vote have no idea why they are voting. So why don't you just say, look, the guys who can drive a car, you must be at least 18 years of age. But it excludes almost 90% of Nigerians. Why is no one complaining? So the guys who can vote have to have a certain grounding. I don't know how it sounds. These are just thoughts. I don't know how it sounds. But if you wearing that face cap with a Colorado on it, I carry you along to China. and look at Shanghai, that 100 years ago was just mud. I said, why don't we have it here? I said, but they don't have democracy. They don't. But here we have. But we have what the West has imposed. The West has imposed what is known as formal democracy. So they're very happy every 4 years we have it. That's it. They send international observers. Oh, there was some irregularity, blah, blah, blah. Things continue. But it's not deep new. So in democracy's oscillation, there are 4 steps. We've not managed to go beyond the second. So we had voting. At that point, we went from authoritarian to, some may say, semi-authoritarian or semi-democratic. Then at some point we reach stage 3, illiberal, where the rules are not certain, where there's look at all the fight. I just heard Wiki. I got confused. I couldn't tell what who is who exactly is who. ADC, is it going to run? Is there enough time to transfer? So you can see the mago and the confusion. All for one thing. Oh, that's it. But I'm not speaking the reality. Eh? I can't hear anybody saying anything. It's not the reality.
It's the reality.
We are saddened. That's why we didn't respond.
Eh?
We are sad. That's why we didn't respond.
No, but it doesn't help me. It makes me sad if you don't respond. Because I want to be sure that I'm carrying you along.
Where would you say?
I'm asking a deep question. Between China and Nigeria, which would you choose?
China.
Why?
Of course. The level of
Things are working.
But it's not a democracy.
It doesn't matter which
But we need to be a democracy.
democracy.
Must we?
Are we in democracy?
So are you therefore challenging the notion of democracy?
Even some people are saying that the
Are
military was
you
even better.
afraid so that the press conference turns, I'm now the questioner. So are you now challenging the notion of democracy?
Yes, sir.
Put it in your
When
paper.
it's not working.
It's not working.
So that they let them know. These people think that they are semi-gods. Let them know that this notion of democracy is not working,
Yes.
and their choices. Their choices. That's why they absolutely obliterated those girls that match. What they call it? Those girls now that did match, they killed them. You look what the name.
And,
They keep-
and, and,
Endsars.
They knew the danger when we're all fighting. Even as we were fighting during the military time, I had friends. They say, in fact, when we meet international stages, they're happy. They say, the fact that Abacha allows human rights groups to exist is evidence that he's tolerant. See the argument? It's evidence that he is tolerant. Not knowing that is the game they were playing us. There was only one man that Abacha feared in the human rights community. Who knows?
Is it Ghana?
No. They gave Gani stage. Gani once wrote to Guardian that he's coming back and that they're going to arrest him. The government fully arrested him. But only one man, so they'll put us in prison, but we'll come out. They put us in prison, we'll come out. Only one man went and never came out. Ken Saro-Wiwa.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
Ken Saro-Wiwa was the only man that the government really was afraid of. Nobody else. Because he struck at the heart of crude oil.
Oh, yes.
And it's a shame that he's not given the special recognition, even above Abiola, that he deserves. Because he knew that this contraption called Nigeria was unworkable. And I was proud to be his deputy chief counsel with Femi Falana and Daniel Linos. They said, this man is dangerous. So if you allow him, he will scatter Nigeria. He beheaded him. But the rest, they said, as if it is something today, I think they're talking. It shows that we are democratic. it shows we are democratic. So that's the trick that we need to understand. That when they create a space for you guys to write, you think you are free. Go write on something that is very sensitive and you find yourself in the. But when you are writing the free one, that they say, Business Day carried the story. That shows that Nigerian press, the World Bank in their nonsense report. Don't leave here. When they come, they stop in a Eco Hotel in their lovely power suits. I've never gone to a gentleman. But they will report that Nigeria is great.
It's great.
It's a good country. But those of us, well, I won't say me because I'm higher than that. I did that in my when I was in the 80s. Now, at least, I'm more comfortable than at that time. But I can assure you that in the 40 years I have been in this business, not one of you here can tell me more about Nigeria. I've seen it all. And the suffering continues. It continues for almost 200 million dispossessed Nigerians. So this question again plays back to the traditional house. Because if there was money, they can tar the roads, they can build hospitals, they can do the very things that Nigerians need. And that's why this is central to the discussion. Any more?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Sorry. Talk. Don't go yet. Talk.
Yes.
Come. Okay, let's just. I'll go take it. Even we'll listen to Sorry, help me, please. I need to. Okay. Make another. This is the one that we publish. Are you all through? Let me join them. This place here, are you getting us?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks as usual. Thank you.
One,
Who you